Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's been a while and I'm back with another tutorial. So in this video, we are going to be creating this kinetic typography poster design or animation, and I'm pretty sure you are going to really enjoy this a lot because I actually learned a lot by creating this myself. This is actually inspired by Aejuice, so I'll be talking a little bit more about that after the video. And of course, you know the drill. If you like the video, make sure you click on the thumbs up icon. And if you are new to my channel, what are you waiting for? It's time for you to subscribe. So first we create a new composition. We are going to make this 3000 by 160. So let's make this 10 seconds long. I am going to name this text 01 and click OK. So I'm going to fit the screen and then I'm going to have my first text. So I'm going to type, let's say hashtag coming soon. Of course, I need to change the font. So I'll go to my paragraph, make sure it's centralized. And I also like to go to my align, make sure they're all centralized. Then I'll go to my character, and of course I would like to change this font to, let's try and use Thin Pro. I like to change all of this to capital letter with this, and I'm actually going to increase this quite a lot because I need to change my spelling. So I'm just going to come here and do that. So select this and increase this some more. Also increase the tracking as well, maybe not so much. I can always come back and change this, but let me work with this for now. Let me change this font to something else. So let me use Montserrat instead. I'll use Montserrat. Let me use black. Right, something like this would do. And let's see if I can just increase this quite a bunch. Alright, maybe this would do. Make sure it's aligned to the center, and then I have this set. So the next thing is for me to create a new composition, and I'll make this 4K of this composition, which is the width. Let me just make it text 01 precom, and make sure it's at 30 frames per second. I'll be using 30 frames per second for this, and I'll click OK. Let me go back to my first text. I want to check the composition settings, make sure this is at 30 frames per second, and I'll click OK. So I'll go back to my new composition I just created, and I'm just going to drag in my text here, right? And I have this. So first I'll create a new solid. I'll make sure it's black, make sure it's total black, and I'll make sure this is BG, which stands for background, and I'll click OK, right? I'll make sure that is down. Then the next thing I will do is to create an adjustment layer, which is I'll right click on adjustment layer. I'll drag this above my text one, and here I will apply an effect. I'll go to my effect and preset, and I'll apply motion tile under stylize, and I'm going to apply it to the adjustment layer. So basically what I really need to do now is to animate the tile center, because if I drag this, and you see that it's moving, right? If I keep dragging it, and you see that it's actually doing the offset for me automatically. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm just going to set my keyframe at the beginning here, and I'll go to the end and I'll set another one. So let me just do something like this. Let's say we work with this. So if I press U, if I scroll this is what we have. We have this simple animation, which is really cool. Alright, so I'm actually done with this. So I'll create another new composition. I will name this line 01. Okay, and I'll make sure this is at 3840, and this will now be 318, right? And I'll click OK. So basically I'm just going to drag in my text comp 01. I'm going to just drop it here. So what I really need to do now is to take my text 01 here. I'm going to duplicate it, Ctrl D, so I can take this right now. I'll rename it to text 2, and now that I have this here, I also need to duplicate this text because it's actually within this. So I'll duplicate this So automatically this, I will have text 1, text 2, text 1 pre-comp, text 2 pre-comp. So all I really need to do right now is I'll come here. First of all, I'll squeeze this to, let's say, about 50%, and I'll drag it up. So let me activate the title save. So maybe I can have something like this, maybe not so much, and then I'll take this out, duplicate it, and drag it down. So maybe I can have something like this. So for this second one, or let me say this one on top, I will drag the second pre-comp and I will replace it, holding down Alt and replace. I will double click this, and then this background, I would like to change the background and the text. So, but this text, I'm going to replace it with text 2, and then I'm just going to go in here and change the text. So I'm just going to use this as my text. So I'm going to go back, and then here I'm going to change my color of my background. So I'm going to go to my effect and presets, type in fill, and I'm just going to use the fill from the generate, drag it on top of the background. So I think I would like to use maybe something like, something that will really complement that white color. Maybe something like this would do. And I'll click OK, right? And I'll go back. I have something like this. So basically, all I really need to do is to make sure this fits, right? So I'm just going to try and fast forward all of this part to see how it will fit. So I'm going to go into this. I'll change the text. I don't want the hashtag anymore. And now I'm just going to go back here and then I just keep adjusting accordingly. So we have this coming soon text here. Okay, remember they have some animation in there already. Okay, and then you can see that it's cutting off from there. So all we really need to do is simple. On this, we will apply another effect called CC Repeater. Drag on top of the one composition here, and I'll just increase the value of the right to about 1090, then increase the value of the left to the same 1090, and I also need to apply the same effect to the one below, which is text 1, which is the one above actually. So everything will stretch to the end, and then if you animate this is what we have. Right, really cool stuff. So let me just tidy all of this up, and now I'm going to create another composition. This time I'm going to try and make it a square, so I'll just copy this and paste this. You will see the reason why I'm keeping a large resolution so very soon. So I'm going to name this for sphere, right? I'm not so great at naming, so just pardon me. So we have this square here, and all I really need to do is simple. So I'll just bring in the line and I'll drop here, and I will just take this up. Let me just use my align tool to just snap it up, and I'll reduce the scale to, let's try 50%, right? And then I'll snap it up. What I really want to do right now is to replicate this throughout this composition. So let me make sure, let's try 40% first and see how it looks like. I'm making sure it snaps to the edge like that. Now I'll take this and apply CC Repeater to this as well. And here I would go to the right and I will do, let's say 6,000, right, to extend to the right by 6,000. But let's reduce that. Let's see what to give us. So I want to expand more than the usual. Okay, so let's say about 3.5, right? And I'm also do the same thing, 3.5, then down. That will be a lot. So let's try 4,000 first. Let's see what that would look like. So we need to do more. So let's make it 8,000. Okay, let's make it 10,000. Okay, and then let's change the expand up. So we don't need to do up because it's already at the top. So let's try and explore some of the options that we have here. So I have this, it's not exactly working for me. And let's try unfold. right? So there are different settings here, but the settings we will use here is going to be brick, right? Because brick just align it in a certain way, which is really cool. And by the way, the animation are all in there, so you can see how this can actually be cool already. One other thing I would like to do is to go into the line, go into the text tool, and I would like to flip this animation. So I'm going to press U, highlight the keyframes, just do keyframe assistant, then time reversal keyframe. So what that will happen is this will be going the other way around, while the other line will be going this way. So we have something really dynamic like that. So, and by the time we get here, you can see it's going to give us something really cool. So I can see that this is kind of clashing somewhere here, but let us go ahead and finish this up and see the final result. You can always come back and adjust. Now that I'm done doing this, I'm just going to close it up and then I'm going to pre-comp this. So I'm just going to right click, pre-compose, and I'm going to name this main sphere, and I'm just going to move all of this, and I'll click OK. I'm going to apply CC sphere to this. So I'll come here and process CC sphere. So this is the one I'm looking for, and I'm just going to drop on top of this. Here I have something like this. I'll increase the radius to 800. So by seeing this, I can see that I have some space, right? It's actually seeing through the other side of this part of the sphere. So I need to go in and then fix it. So if I check the transparency grid, I can see that there's some spacing here. So I just need to come here and then let me check the transparency grid here. I can see that I have some space here. So basically all I really need to do is just to resize all of this to make sure it fits accordingly. Okay, so 100 actually fitting perfectly, right? So that works. So now we've been able to fill out those space, so there's no more transparency anywhere. So if I go back to my main sphere now, you can see everything is all covered up. So let's keep developing this. I'll open up my rotation. I'm going to set this at 200, something like this. Sorry, let's do 20, maybe something like this. The y-axis as 10, while the z-axis as -20. Next thing is I'll go to the shading. I'll change the ambient to about 21. Then I'll go to the light. I'll change the light height to 60, and I think I am good. I'll go to render as well. I like to change the render to outside, right, instead of inside. So I think with this, I'm really happy with what I have. So what I would like to do next is to bring my line 01 and then drop here. You can see this is what we have here, and I would like to add another effect because I want this to wrap around the sphere. So I would like to add CC cylinder. So I'm just going to click this and then drop on top of this, and immediately we have something like this. So we just need to tweak it accordingly. So first I'll change the radius to 133 just to make it bigger. I'll go to the rotation. I'll change this to the same value just like we have in the sphere, the rotation value. So that's practically what I'm going to be doing. Then this to -20 as well. I don't know why it's doing this, but let me try and find out. Let me see, because it's not continuous rasterized. Okay, that was the problem. So you have to check on continuous rasterized so that you can always get the right thing. I'll change the render to outside, right? So the render should just be on the out surface. I don't want to see the inside. So that's what that does. I'll go to the shading and I'll try and tweak some settings here. I'll go to diffuse and I'll do 75 and diffuse, and I think with that I'm really good. Let's go to the light, and the light, I think everything is pretty decent here. Let me just change the direction a little bit to -29. Right, you can see that it's coming up there, and then you can see that this is wrapping around this sphere, but we really need to sell the depth. So what we are going to do is really simple. I'm just going to add a drop shadow to this. So I'm going to go to my effects, drop shadow. I'll drop it on top of the line. So in drop shadow, I would like to change the distance to about 45 and change the softness to about 70. Right, so we can see it without the shadow, with the shadow. Let me just fit to screen. Maybe that will look better from distance. Yes, I think it does. Right, but we are not done here because we can see that it's wrapping around, but it's not showing it. Like we are supposed to see it continue at this edge, right? Because I changed this from full, right, to outside. So I'm going to duplicate this line. I'll make sure this is, I'll name this to inside, and I can just drag this below, right? Of course it's still not showing it, but let me drag this up so I can see what I'm doing, and I'll change the render to inside, so you can see that it's showing what is inside the cylinder there. So I'm just going to drag this below the sphere, and by so doing it's going to give me that wrapping round effect that I really wanted. So let me just preview this so you can see it's really giving me what I want, which is really good. So now that I'm looking at this, I would like to increase this, the line cylinder just a little bit more. Let's do 140. Right, and I'll do the same thing on the inside, 140. So at least that makes it more obvious, right? So it looks like it's orbiting around it. So basically all I really need to do now is to create my final comp. This one will be full HD, so I'll make it 30 frames per second. Just name this final sphere. Or I can just name it final, right? Let us leave it as final, so we know that this is the final thing that we're doing. Click OK. I'm going to drag in my first sphere comp. I'm just going to drag it here, right? And I'm just going to scale it down a lot. Let me just fit the screen. The reason I'm doing this is because it's going to, play way better and faster when it's on full HD, right? So that is it. Basically, I'm just going to try and render this, and I'll show you the result. And here comes the result. Really cool, right? By the way, this was actually inspired by Aejuice. So this is Aejuice. You can download the free plugin and then check out the packs. The one that really inspired this tutorial is actually gotten from Kinetic Typography. So if I open this up, you can see different kind of type of kinetic typography or posters you can do, and they are really high quality stuff, right? So I would advise you to look at the one I just did. This is the one that I got really inspired from. You can just go in and then if you don't want to go through the stress of creating everything from scratch, you can just come here and then select anyone you want for any of your projects, right? Check the link in the description to get your Aejuice plugin for free. And of course, if you are interested in the animated packs, you can also get that too. And that will be you supporting me, and I really appreciate that. Hey, I really hope you do enjoy that, and I really hope you've learned a lot. Remember, the project file is actually the link in the description. You can download that for free actually. Of course, if you do like the video, make sure you click on the thumbs up icon, and if you are new to my channel, make sure you do subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you can get real-time updates from me. And that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next video.